This article here is from Variety. It's from March 8th, 2023. It's called Keira Knightley Says Lusty Pirates of the Caribbean Role Made Her Feel Caged In and Stuck. I Want to Break Out of That. Well, there's a small problem with that. I don't know exactly what she says about it because I read these articles and react to them. I don't read them beforehand. But to put things into context, if she complains about being caged in from a lusty role in Pirates, let's just not forget, even around the time of Pirates and before Pirates, she did much more lusty things than that. This Dr. Zhivago series, she was very, very lusty in that. This movie, The Hole, she has a topless scene, very close up, by the way. And this movie here, Domino, in 2005, she gets very, very lusty and once again takes off some clothes and shows some things. And there's much more. I just took three as an example. So comparing that to the lust in Pirates, I think is pretty silly. Obviously, Pirates is a fun movie with kids in mind. I don't know how she can be caged in when this stuff's out there, but okay, let's see. Keira Knightley was only 17, going on 18, when she became an international star with 2003's Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, but in a new interview with Harper's Bazaar UK, the Oscar nominee said playing an object of desire like Elizabeth Swann at such a young age left her feeling stuck and constrained in the industry, like I just said. Around that time, 2005, 2002, I think 2001 was her first lusty scene. She wasn't feeling caged in by that. And then after that, there were many, many more. I think I saw about 10 movies where she took off most of her clothes, or you could see through pretty well. Let's just say way more lusty than Elizabeth Swann. So why would she complain about that? All right, maybe she felt because it was such a big, big movie, such a big, big hit, that she would get famous for that lusty role. But I don't know. A quick look at her resume, and anyone can see she's been lusty before. I had quite an entrance into adult life and extreme landing because of the experience of fame at a very early age, Knightley said. There's a funny place where women are meant to sit publicly, and I never felt comfortable with that. It was a big jolt. So how about this? Don't do the lusty roles. I know what you might say. Well, women have got to do those roles to climb up in the industry and things like that. Well, guess what? If you look up men and these big actors, they've all done sex scenes too, and they've all, a lot of times, done nude scenes, just like the women. So it seems like it's something everyone does. But I've actually never heard a man complain about it. Maybe there's more to be said there about that. I don't know, but just saying. I always hear women say things like this, but never men who have done the same thing, like Ian McGregor couldn't keep his clothes on when he first got started in the industry. There's a great example. He never complained. Elizabeth Swann was the object of everyone's lust, Knightley continued. Not that she doesn't have a lot of fight in her, but it was interesting coming from being really tomboyish to getting projected as quite the opposite. I felt very constrained. I felt very stuck. So the roles afterwards were about trying to break out of that. I didn't have a sense of how to articulate it. It very much felt like I was caged in a thing I didn't understand. Okay, to be fair, she was 17, 18. I'm not saying she had to understand everything then, but now she should. While Knightley starred in two more Pirates of the Caribbean films, 2006 and 2007, she also tried to counteract such Hollywood tentpoles with prestige projects such as Joe Wright's Pride and Prejudice, 2005, and Atonement, 2007, the former of which earned an Oscar nomination for Best Actress at just 20 years old. But Atonement is the movie I was talking about where, well, she doesn't take all her clothes off, but she's got a drenched nightgown where you can pretty much see everything, and there's a guy looking right at her. I would say that's a lot more lusty than Pirates, and I would say that's not trying to get away from that type of role with any amount of serious effort. But that was the movie in which she was trying to get away from Elizabeth Swann and that lusty role. All right, we learned something here today. I was incredibly hard on myself, Knightley said about this period of her career. I was never good enough. I was utterly single-minded. I was so ambitious. I was so driven. I was always trying to get better and better and improve, which is an exhausting way to live your life. Exhausting. I am in awe of my 22-year-old self because I'd like a bit more of her back. And it's only by not being like that any longer I realize how extraordinary it was, but it does have a cost. Well, of course, when you're younger, you've got more opportunities to be like that and do those type of scenes. And as you get older, I'd imagine you get different roles and you're not quite seen like that. That just seems like the natural pattern of life. Now, I guess what I would think is that she's using her role in Pirates because that's what everyone recognizes her as a springboard for her narrative. Just to name a couple of other movies, she got very, very lusty in Silk 2007, The Duchess 2008, The Edge of Love 2009, Last Night 2010, Never Let Me Go 2010, The Dangerous Method 2011, in which she did some kind of kinky bondage scene where she was mostly naked, Anna Karina 2012, Colette 2018, where she also did some kind of kinky scene where she was mostly naked, and The Aftermath 2019, where she did a full-on sex scene where she was completely naked. Keeping that in mind, do you think Pirates is the problem, or was the problem? I don't think so. Let me know what you think in the comments, doing shoutouts, special thanks, things like that. Sorry guys, couldn't show those pictures. I'd probably get in trouble. But the names of the movies are there, I said them, the dates are there, and sorry Keira, not quite buying this one. See you next time.